So I wanted to bring y'all a special guest today who is one of my besties. She and I have been working together. She's a huge part of my career. We've been friends for, 27 years, we discovered last night. She is the godmother to my youngest daughter. I am the godfather to her daughter, who is right over there somewhere. Where are you, Chase? Oh, yeah, she over there eating Skittles. But she is also a very huge part of my first big break, and I'm going to let her tell that story.
Oh. Well, I was in the studio, and we were doing, who is it? John Singleton's movie, Poetic Justice. It was like Tupac and Janet Jackson, and we did a song called Get It Up. It was a remake that Prince wrote, which I couldn't believe Prince, approved the version. So, because he always says, no, you can't do my songs. So I was like, he said yes. But we were going to record Get It Up, and The Time originally did it. And my engineer didn't show up. And I was like, I can't believe he didn't show up. But the one thing that I would watch at the time, Leslie was struggling. He was 19, fresh out of St. Thomas. No, he wasn't out of St. Thomas, but out of Full Sail, basically, but from St. Thomas. But, he was still struggling, trying to get it together. But we would come into the studio probably around 7 at night and leave the next day, 10 in the morning. But no matter how late it was, he would stay and twist the knobs and, learn how to work the equipment even more so than he did at Full Sail in practice. And I was like, you know what? I want to see him win. So when my engineer didn't show up, I was like, Dallas, Leslie can do it. And he was looking at me like, and I was like, shut up. I'm telling you, I got this. Leslie can do it, So Dallas was looking like, Leslie? I was like, yes, Leslie. So he's like, all right. So from then on out, I never hired the engineer that didn't show up, and he's been my engineer for 26 years now. So. It was his attention to detail. Hush. I knew you was right here. Felt you all in my peripheral. Yeah. But it was his attention to detail, because when you come to the studio, the last thing you want to do, especially when you're on a deadline and you're stressed out, is the engineer be sorry, doesn't know what he's doing, work with you for 2 months and still don't know what you like. Like, no, it's kind of like customer service. If you go to your favorite boutique or restaurant, and I keep using Shirlene, but if Charlene remembers your order or that person remembers your clothes, you're going to be like, you know what, she was so nice to work with. So when I would get there, he would always have my mic set at my height. I like to sing in the dark, so he would have the lights dim. That's the way I like it. I like a candle, so he'd have the candle lit and everything ready to go. If Chili came in, she doesn't like anybody in the room, so he would kick everybody out. He'd have the mic her way, reverb on her mic. I like mine dry, like as I'm sitting here talking. So he just remembered every little detail to anything that I liked, and it would be ready to go. He worked fast, efficiently. He was just on top of everything. And his work ethic, I keep saying that because he just was always there, no matter what, no matter how tired, no matter how late. He just made it seem like it was 2 in the daytime and he was wide awake, no matter how sleepy we all were. I know he had to be dead tired because I was, you know what I mean? But he would, okay, we ready. He stayed jolly. So that's what impressed me the most. And that's why I stuck with him.
It's something that everybody should always be aware of and consider for your growth. You always have to go through a process of assessing yourself and those around you. And sometimes it does involve weeding, people out and distancing yourself from people. The beautiful thing about the way life works, most of the things and the people that don't need to be around you weed themselves out. And so that's the beautiful thing. Now, there are exceptions to that rule, and you do have to make some conscious decisions where people aren't resonating with your walk anymore, and you have to distance yourself. And sometimes it's family. I famously tell the story every chance I get on campus about how my own mother did not resonate with what I was trying to do. And had I gone with her plan, wouldn't be sitting here talking to y'all right now because she had a different vision for my life. But it's my life. And it doesn't mean I have to distance myself from my mom, like disown her and not talk to her and da-da-da. But I have to distance myself from her advice, from her, you know, and go my own way. So it's a very deliberate act that you should get used to practicing. And it's not always your responsibility to, I shouldn't say care, but you are not responsible for how people receive what you have to say. You're only responsible for how you deliver it. And as long as you deliver it with integrity, you speak the truth, you're not harsh, you're kind, it ain't up to you to decide how they take it. You know what I mean? That ain't your fight. So not my job to worry about if somebody feel offended. It's my job to worry about, was I offensive? Did I say it in a kind way? Did I speak my truth? Was I authentic? Cool. If I check all those boxes, you feel some kind of way, that ain't on me.
Well, I want to add, yeah, because, I mean, the way I always put it, you can't be everybody's Captain Save-A-Ho. You just can't. You know what I'm saying? I want to be saved. It's not your job. You know, as long as you don't burn bridges, and like he said, but in life, nothing is always going to be easy. You have to make those hard decisions, and you grow past people. Like, you can't let people hold you back. Like, if I did all this and work my behind off to get where I'm at, I'm not going to sit here back where my friends don't want to do nothing, be lazy, because you start, like how they say you are who you hang with. That's true, because creative inspires creative. I need to be around people who thrive like me, who have worth ethic like me, who want to grind and win and get this money and become smarter and better and bigger. If I'm down here doing the same thing, running in the same circle like a chicken with my head cut off, it's time to move on. And if their feelings are hurt, they'll be all right. They'll get over it, have a Coke and a smile on a nice day. But you'll live. Just like he said, as long as you're respectful in your delivery, because I had to work on how I said things, because I'm real blunt. Yeah. Because I would just say, like, da-da-da-da, you know. But I knew, see, I'm a person who knows it's okay to work on yourself, and I admit my wrongs and I say sorry. So I had to work on how I talk to people. Like, I don't talk down to people, don't get me wrong. But if you make me mad, it would just come out. Like, when I was 3, you made me sick, and I would go all the way back to the first day you made me mad, and not just the, you know, situation at hand. So I had to be like, woosah.
Let's just say I spent a very large chunk of my career keeping her out of jail.
And literally. Yeah, no,
and
for real.
And bailing her out of jail.
Yeah, but, you know, once I worked on my delivery and how I approached the situation, and some stuff is just not worth getting all bent out of shape. You just do what you have to do and move on. But it's okay, and it's not selfish to care about yourself, to love yourself and put yourself first. If the better good is for you, your job, and what you worked hard for, don't let nobody hold you back. Come on. Right, 20 years. What?
We should celebrate by, when we were making Fan Mail, that was a very interesting album. We should celebrate by going to Universal. Remember we
left the studio and just went to Universal.
Just went to Universal, and the label was so pissed.
They were mad because ours was just counting. We were like, Mickey Mouse, Spider-Man. Like, we got a call like, what do you have, T? Because it was always just me, Dallas, and Leslie together.
Yeah.
And we were just gone, having fun. I had on my Mickey Mouse ears. We was taking pictures. Then LA called like, what are you doing? I was like, we're getting inspiration for the music.
Let me tell y'all a funny fan mail story.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
So, Dallas and I were in the studio with Tionne, and one of our musical heroes came to the studio. We're gonna leave him unnamed.
But you have to tell the truth about how he was acting too.
You're right. But we're gonna leave him unnamed for now.
Yep.
And
it's best.
Yeah. He came into the studio, and he was pitching an idea to do a song with TLC. And now let me give you some context. This guy, I'll probably tell some of you privately when the cameras aren't rolling who I'm talking about, but he was Dallas's and I's one of our musical icons. We adored him. Dallas learned a lot of his production style listening to his music. I looked up to him just even on the mix tip and what he did for urban music. It was amazing. So just to have him in the studio, me and Dallas were both
I liked him too.
I know, but wait a minute.
Until that day, that moment.
So we like nervous, and he's in the studio, and we're like super like having like a real legit fanboy moment, like and I'm sitting there and I'm like kind of nervous, and then he starts talking and he's like, yeah, and then he says that what was he saying? He was saying that he wanted to do an album with y'all, but he made it seem as if y'all needed him.
No, okay, this is when we were like big like Beyonce, okay?
Before Beyonce.
But you know how like she running stuff now, that was us back then.
Yes.
So that's when they were opening for us and all that.
Yeah.
So we like doing it, right? So he comes in there and I'm humble, I'm quiet, and he makes a statement like, because TLC needs me. And they need this song because it's gonna help pop off their career.
And her face, that face right there. Now imagine her.
Whatever.
Imagine her making that face to one of your like somebody who you look up to, who you're like too nervous to speak.
They just didn't know what was gonna come out my mouth because I was off the train. This was before Chase. I put in biblical terms BC and AC. Before Chase, I was a trip. AC after Chase and Chance, I have woosahs.
Still a trip, but
But not, I don't pop off as fast because, I'm quick to be like,
So when he said that and I saw her face, me and Dallas both like, we put our heads down, we were like,
look what
but
you
he kept
done
making
did.
comments like
Don't let
that.
her
Like we
embarrass
were
us.
beneath him and he was just going to be the magical guy who made us arrive. And, I'm like, if you ain't noticed on them charts, like, I'm here.
Yes.
But I was just like, you didn't have to say it that way. I
but
mean,
she held it together.
I
She
held
didn't
it together,
embarrass
though.
us.
Because I looked at their face, I turned my head like this, and then I just felt all this on my backside. And I just happened to turn, and they was like this.
Oh,
And
man.
Leslie was like, please don't.
Don't. Just don't.
And I said, okay, I'll hear this song. 'Cause, I'm open to it. And I was nice.
Oh, your microphone.
That song sucked, though. Can I tell you? That song was god awful.
And it did.
I was like, and this is the song that was going to be our Captain Save a Ho. Oh, my goodness. You know what I mean? So, but to answer your question, we're talking to our agent, too.
Right.
About doing because it's about to be, I think it's the 25th anniversary. I don't know. It's so many anniversaries coming up. We're talking about doing like a TLC 25th anniversary type tour.
Okay.
Like, yeah. So, don't know who would open and all that. And headlining, because Fan Mail was the last tour I take that back. 2 years ago, I just headlined a tour, but Fan Mail was one of the most stressful tours I've ever headlined. It's like being a mama to 85 to 100 adults with mega problems. So
Even
it was like
in Japan.
Christina Aguilera, Destiny's Child, and TLC. Woo! It was hard. Me and Lisa were closest. We started out together before Chili. Yeah. So that was my home me, okay? The thing that I can respect about Lisa the most, no matter what, I'm the type of person, if you show me your real face, I don't care if you're a crackhead, alcoholic, it could be the worst thing on the planet. But just show me who you really are and let me love you for who you are. Don't pretend to be nothing else. And that's what she was. So I could love her with all her good ways and her bad ways because I could respect it because she just was who she was and she didn't care what nobody thought. And I love that about her because most of us stopped doing things. She'd be like, I'm about to do what I got to do. Whatever. She was loud, hyper, big spirit. Everything that you saw on stage was pretty much off stage. And, like people always ask me to pick one thing. I can't because just her period is just like a bundle of fun. She went through some things that, where she wasn't acting the same. But, everybody's human. And she was trying to find herself towards the end, you know what I'm saying? And then she didn't make it. But at the end of the day, I could say I'm blessed to have had her a part of my life. And she still is because we keep her living throughout everything we do. I'm not going to ever stop doing that. That's why I won't ever put another girl in this group.
And you would see, and it's interesting, and we touched on it yesterday, you would see a lot of negative things about Lisa in the news over the years.
Saying, 'cause, like, I see
but there
a lot
was
of negative
so
stuff.
much positive, and we had so much fun in the studio. We would play hide and seek. We would kidnap each other. We would
fight.
We would play. You would watch us work and wonder how the hell we got any work done. Like we would just be playing the whole time. Lisa was a big part of a lot of the creativity behind TLC, a lot of the naming of the albums, the outfits they wore. Lisa was a very creative force, and just like Tionne said, you didn't have a problem figuring out who she was. She would let you know if she don't like something, and you had a very clear understanding of who Lisa was, and you respected it. You didn't always like it, but you respected it.
Yeah, and I'll say this, and that's why it was really hard for me, especially now, because it was a realization. Even though she's been gone 16 years, we did a studio album after 15 years, and that was my creative partner. So, like, say if I would go buy the clothes and cut them up, she would spray paint them. If she named the album, I would do the artwork for the cover. So we worked really good hand in hand. So she brought so much creativity because, like I said before, creative inspires creative. But now I was left by myself. I know Chili's in the group, but that was who I was creative with, was Lisa. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So when she was gone, I felt empty. I didn't have anything. So it took me a minute, and I mean some years, a minute to get over that and figure this whole thing out because everybody turned their back on us. They dropped us. They dumped us. TLC's over. Biggest girl selling group of all time. I worked hard for that record, and she passes away, and they're just like, F you, you're done. I'm like, what? What do you mean? No, I'm not. Even though she passed away, that doesn't hinder my ability to sing and dance.
Right.
I still have a kid to feed. I still have music in my soul. What am I supposed to do? Just say no? So I said, you know what? I'm going to humble myself, and I'm going to have to probably work and do some things that I probably, people would say I'm bigger than doing. But I'm going to go ahead and do it just to show people that I'm not done. But you just have to find your new normal. I'm very clear that it's not ever going to be the same, but whatever is when somebody dies, nothing. Right. So at the end of the day, you find your new normal and you figure out how to make that work. And it only takes one to say yeah. And I kept telling Chili and Bill this, and we found that one, and that was Super Bowl Blitz on VH1. And I remember every rapper who was supposed to show up, and I ain't going to name everybody, they didn't come through because they didn't want to be the ones to take a chance on us. But I got Misty Copeland to do Lisa's rap. So she did a beautiful ballet art piece. And I was like, bump all the rappers. Dougie Fresh did come through. I say that his mom had, how you say, Alzheimer's, or whatever yeah, because I can never say that word, though. So I'm like, Alzheimer's or timers? See, everybody, y'all saying it different, too.
Simers.
Okay. Well, y'all know what I'm talking about. So he's still with his mom in the hospital bed, staying up for 24 hours. I will always have mad respect for Dougie Fresh because he showed up with no sleep, same clothes he came out. And we did that show, and that was one of the best shows I've ever had in my whole career. And then all of a sudden, the next morning, literally, every promoter on the planet called us. And I'm like, oh, now you see we can still perform. No, but, sometimes you have to, and, we talking like over 10, 15 years in, and I had to reprove myself, So, a lot of things happen. But anyway, still incorporate Lisa. But it's just a blessing to say. And she ended up being my cousin, too. My uncle's married to her mom to this day. So not only was she my sister friend, she ended up being my cousin. I don't put an age limit on nothing. I'm going to tell you why. Life happens, especially for me. Man, I got a brain tumor in the middle of some great stuff. Like, life will throw you a curveball that you are not ready for. And when I adopted my son from birth, people were like, you're crazy, you're old, you're this. I can't believe you want to start over. Your daughter is 15. I was like, wah, 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 wah. You know, because you can't get a do-over in life. I can't look back at 70 and wish I woulda, coulda, shoulda, or that would have killed me if I missed that shot. I can't get that time back. So, and in my job, there's never a perfect time to plan a kid. I'm always gonna be busy. So you do something and you make it work. Yeah, and that's exactly what I did. And now that he's here and he's changed everybody's lives, they love him. And they're like, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't think that this was a good idea. Because you're talking to a 48-year-old who's on stage for an hour or two dancing like I'm 20 every other night. I'm dancing like I'm way younger, so what do you mean? A kid? I could do that. Of course I can. But you have sickle cell. I've had it my whole life. No big deal. I'm not decrepit. I just get sick here and there. You know what I'm saying? And is it easy? No, but anything you want in life, you work hard for it, you strive for it, and you go for it if you really want it. And I'm always going to fight for any and every last thing that I want, ever. And I do whatever I want. Thank you. I wouldn't necessarily always look at it as helping somebody else build their thing. I would look at it as me building myself and learning from people who are doing what I want to do and already have done what I'm trying to do. And I always say I surround myself with people who are smarter than me, better than me, and know more than me. Not all of them, but some of them. But seriously, because I learn from them because they're at where I want to go. So I don't really look at it as, well, I'm helping build their stuff. The goal is to get to my own stuff, but I'm learning without the era of losing anything or doing something blindly. I'm preparing myself to become a boss, a beast, successful, and great at what I'm gonna do because I'm learning from those. So really I look at it as a journey to get to where you wanna go. That's how I look at it.
Okay. Yeah, to add to that, I think that just like Tionne said, I think it's all about how you look at things and your perspective. And if you can look at the very same situation in a lot of different ways. And so if you look at it as, oh, well, I'm just working for somebody else and helping them build their empire, that's the negative way to look at it. The positive way to look at it is, you may be getting paid, or even if you're not getting paid, you are gaining experience and learning how not to make the mistakes that they're making, or how to do things the way you want to do things. Or just like Tionne just alluded to, well, yeah, working for somebody else or helping somebody else build their empire it may seem like, oh, you're just doing something for somebody else, but at the same time, you don't have any liability. You're not, if something goes wrong, you're learning. Learning is valuable. So it's not always about looking at it like, well, I don't want to work for somebody else to help them build their thing up. I want to do my thing. Well, your thing will be a lot more valuable if you learn how to do their thing. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because if you just start off trying to do your thing, and there is no starting at the top. That does not happen. You still use the word build. In either situation, the word build still applies, whether you build in somebody else's or you build in your own. You still got to start from the bottom.
Yeah, you're working to build your own. That's why everything has stages, like an infant turns to a toddler to a child. Crawl before you walk before you run. That's why life goes that way. So you are building because you're building to be successful, but you're learning, and knowledge is power. And if you are in a position to get paid and learn, why not do it? So that you'll be well prepared.
Okay, thank you.
I always say creative inspires creative. Like once you get in school or in this industry and start surrounding yourself with different people, I always surround myself with people who have either been successful at what I want to do, smarter, done more, and do more because I learn from them. That way I would be a sponge and soak up stuff because sometimes you possess something within you that you don't even know you have. You know what I'm saying? And you can have a passion with something, but it can grow into so many different avenues. So yeah, I started off singing and dancing, but then I could always, look at people and emulate them. And my friend who's a choreographer looked at me and said, Tionne, do you know what a true choreographer is? And I said, no. He said, it's not a person who learns a dance and teaches it. It's a person who creates a dance and makes the world follow. And I was like, oh, well, I want to be a choreographer. So I did the creep dance, the what about your friends dance, and the waterfalls dance. You get what I'm saying? And then I saw the world. If you just do this, then I don't even have to say nothing. People go, oh, that don't go chase the waterfalls, girl. So I was like, yes, I did it, But that showed me that, one of my other passions could become bigger. I'm like, oh, I can be a choreographer now. And, I love watching movies and, writing scripts and stuff like that. But I didn't know I could do that either. But I taught myself how to write scripts, and I was like, I know how to tell stories because I've written songs. So that's another avenue. So now I've EP 2 movies, ATO was one, and then Crazy Sexy Cool, the TLC story was the second one. But basically, don't limit yourself because sometimes you don't know how much you can do and how many different doors can open for you, but don't ever put all your eggs in one basket either. My teachers used to tell me I wasn't going to amount to nothing. They were very negative. I got kicked out of 4 high schools in the whole county. So they weren't nice to me.
Not surprising.
So they really, but I had a mother who was very encouraging, but she still didn't have the means to get me to where I wanted to go. So honestly, when I made it, my inspiration comes from some of the weirdest stuff because when you're out there working, you don't really see the effect you have on people and what you do. But when I started having, I don't know if it was like a book I came out with the first time or signings and one-on-one reactions to where I can actually talk to the fans, and somebody came up to me and told me they didn't commit suicide because of something I said. And I was like, whoa, that's deep. You know what I'm saying? That I could say something and then you actually not kill yourself. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know that, one, that anything that I would say would be that important to someone and to that extent. You know what I mean? So honestly, for me, the fans keep me going when I have conversations with them because all the pain, all the hospital stays, all the death scares, all the times I fought for my life, all the heartache with like losing Lisa or the contracts and all the crap like dealing with like the pebbles and different stuff like that, it makes me feel like all that I've done isn't in vain, that I am actually making a difference or I am doing what I want and helping change people's lives because the stories that I get back and the feedback have always been so positive. And when I was younger, it always made me feel like I wish I could see all them teachers and just go in the line and slap them all in the face. Pow, you know what I mean? Because look at me now, because they would always like to say, where do you see yourself in 5 years or 10 years? And I would say on TV. And I remember the whole classroom laughed at me and I came home and I cried. And my mom was like, Tionne, people don't believe in your dream the way you do. So sometimes you have to learn to keep stuff to yourself. You know what I mean? And believe in yourself. And it all starts with you. So that's it.
If anybody feels like they got to be disrespected to get a job, that's not the job.
That's not your job.
Yeah. No.
So no. I have a big problem with disrespect. I'm not doing it. No, for what? I don't disrespect myself.
A lot of it starts from in here,
Yeah.
how you feel about yourself. And you have to project and you have to not frame your thought process around feeling like being a woman is a disability or a problem or something that makes you less than or something that puts you at a disadvantage. You got to start with that mentality, and everybody else got to catch up.
That's true.
Coming up as a young black engineer in a white male-dominated field, there would be people who would say that to me in the early 90s or who would treat me a certain way, and I was just waiting for them to catch up. There's nothing wrong with me because my skin is dark.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for the rest of the world to figure it out.
I can't tell you how many arguments I had about people using him. Like, it was crazy. But And some people fall for it and allow themselves to be disrespected because either they need the money or, oh, but I really want this job. So that's when he's saying it starts with you. You have to be the person to be like, and I told somebody yesterday, it's okay sometimes in life when you have to pause for a second. Because during that time, if this ain't my job and I still have rent to pay, even if I have to hustle and work at McDonald's or something to save up to go back to my passion, because I had to pause, that don't mean you're giving up on your craft or your art. It means that you're making a hard life decision to better yourself because that job just didn't work. And honestly, I respect people who make decisions like that because you're thinking about you in the long run. And it's just your journey back to where you want to go. So you don't have to look at it like I failed or anything. But like he said, if you feel like you have to be disrespected, that's not the job for you.
Yeah, you never have to navigate employment, this life, this planet, through the framework of disrespect from other people. You never have to do that.
Ever. And don't ever think like you're beneath somebody or they do more than me. Everybody needs each other. I'm clear, down to the littlest job. I could not be who I am if it wasn't for all the people who work with me. And a lot of artists get that twisted. God gave me talent, don't get it wrong. But I can't stand up there without my makeup artist, the wardrobe, the this, the that, the sound guy. I'm not me without all them people. So why would I go around disrespecting my people? They are all important. And you never know who your boss will be. The doorman could be your boss tomorrow. You never know. You never know what he holds and the talent that he possesses. That's why he was my intern. He used to get my fries. I never looked at him like, oh, he's my fry getter. Like, he was a person that I looked up to because he worked hard. And I was like, you know what? He deserves to be more than this. Like, because I remember people would try to, like, some interns, and he didn't go for it. They were like, these aren't hot, and throw the food down at the person. I've seen interns hung over balconies. Like, I've seen some stuff.
Never happened to me. Nobody
Never.
ever threw anything at me. And
You
it
see
never
what I'm
will.
saying? And they
I remember
never
the first
will.
time I worked with Young Jeezy, and he came at me a certain way. And I don't care that you in the streets. I've never shot anybody in my life, and I've never lived there. I grew up in the suburbs. But what you will not do is disrespect me. I'm a man
Exactly.
just like you a man. Period.
I don't take no mess from nobody. You ain't got to like me, but you going to respect me. And I don't put myself in no position to be disrespected. He knows I will go all the way off. For instance, one day we were in LaFace Records. It was this big board meeting. It was LA and everybody, and they all kissing his butt. I don't do that either. I used to tell him just like he was anybody else. Yeah, okay. So he would, I had said a creative comment, like probably 2 weeks prior. So they brought the subject up again, and this guy says the very thing I did. I slapped the table and stood up. I was like, you not about to just sit up here. I'll call you out and take my ideal. And y'all ain't about to sit up here and act like y'all ain't hear me say that 2 weeks ago. And then everybody's like, I can't believe she just did that. You know, but yeah, I did. And then make them respect you, make them notice you, make them hear you out, and make them stop trying to overlook you. Like, you can call me ignorant, but I got my credit and I got my check. And thank you so much, LA. You know, it's nice doing business with you. But, you know, and then he respected me from then on out, because he was like, oh, she ain't about to let nobody, you know, and then the words started getting around. So, oh, yeah, you got to respect Tionne. She ain't going for that. You know what I'm saying? And some of them think I'm cuckoo bird, but that's all right, though. They know I'm not unless I'm provoked. So they just don't provoke me. But he's seen me go off plenty of times. Like, I will not let nobody step over me. I will be heard.
All right. Well,
So
thank you.
keep your voice.
Thank you so much.